I'm Alexa Greenberg. A fierce storm is expected to hit the Northeast overnight, and NCC News will have the full coverage of
Coming up on NCC News at 4, a massive police hunt is underway for a former police officer accused of shooting 3 officers.
And the Arab Spring turmoil continues. Protests start up again in the country where it all began.
I'm Casey Cutler bringing you your weather updates. Right now it's partly cloudy in the mid-20s, but as they say, it's calm before the storm. A lot of cold and a lot of snow coming later this weekend, so stay tuned for my full weather forecast later on in the show.
All of this snow can mean a lot of fun for Syracuse residents, but there's one winter pastime that the city says is illegal. I'm Heather Fontaine, and I'm here to tell you what and why that is coming up. NCC News at 4 starts right now.
Good afternoon and welcome to NCC News at 4. I'm Alexandra Montgomery.
And I'm Alexa Greenberg. A fierce storm is expected to hit the Northeast overnight, and NCC News will have the full coverage of what to expect coming up.
That's right. Our storm team has been working to put together all the information you need to know about this storm. A storm many predict will bring historic blizzards for many parts of the region.
And our very own weather reporter, Casey Cutler, will have all the weather details coming up. But first, let's turn to NCC News reporter Heather Fontaine with our top story.
Now, with the snowstorm heading our way, this weekend could be an excuse for many to enjoy the snowy outdoors.
That's right. Snow angels, snowmen, and snowball fights are all popular activities during Syracuse winters, but there's one activity that might get you arrested.
That's right, Alexa. Sledding is illegal in the city of Syracuse, but with all the snow on the ground, it's hard for many to resist. Take a look at why it's legal and what people are saying about the law. The snow in your hair and the ice on your hands is all worth it when you reach the bottom of the hill. But for Syracuse residents, sledding is not an option when it comes to winter fun, and some people are shocked.
I was like, no, it's not. Like, how can you illegalize sledding? Like, growing up in New Jersey was a big childhood pastime. You know, me and my friends would always go sledding. Me and my family would always go sledding. And then I come up here and I found out it's illegal? Like, what?
The law has been in effect since 1933 when an 11-year-old boy broke his leg on a toboggan at the Westcott Reservoir.
People will sled or toboggan or any of the other snow time activities on the hills. When they get hurt, they don't own up to their own responsibility. They're looking for somebody else to pay their bills. And the city has to protect itself, so hence you have laws keeping people from sledding.
But people have continued to sled and have continued to get hurt.
I know from personal experience, I had a childhood friend that hit a tree going down that hill, and he spent 6 months in a coma. He has a scar on his face to this date, and that's the kind of things that happen.
Again in 2009, a 12-year-old girl died in a sledding accident at the same hill. Since then, fencing and signs have been put up, but it's still not stopping people. Even parents don't think sledding should be illegal.
As long as it's safe, I feel it should be allowed, as long as there's like safety fences or a parent supervision or some type of supervision. Even they could even have like a lifeguard, you know, like in pools.
Illegal or not, Syracuse residents are still taking the chance when it comes to sledding.
If a kid gets hurt sledding, kids get hurt playing baseball, kids get hurt playing sports. What, are you going to ban football? Are you going to get rid of baseball? You can't do that. Just because it's illegal doesn't mean people are not going to do it.
Lieutenant Schaaf warns that although he has never written a ticket for sledding, it's still against the law and it's still dangerous. To find out more about the no sledding law, visit nccnewsonline.com.
Now, it was pretty cold walking outside this morning, and Casey Cutler is out there to give us an update on the conditions. Casey, has it warmed up at all since I've been out there?
Luckily, we're seeing some sun today. Although it's been partly cloudy for most of the day, it's about time we're starting to see the sun. Right now, it's in the mid-20s, but it's been higher throughout the day. Luckily, we have a good day today, but tomorrow we have a lot coming our way with snow and cold. The barometer reads at 30.49 inches, humidity at 49%, and winds are only moving at 6 miles per hour. So hopefully today's the day to get outside and tomorrow's the day to stay inside. A lot more on the storm watch later in the forecast. Back to you in the studio.
We believe it started in the back in the kitchen area.
All right, thanks, Casey. Firefighters from several departments throughout Onondaga County responded to a fire last night at the Tully Burger King on State Route 80. Firefighters received a call from an employee around 8, and when they arrived, everyone was safely out of the restaurant. Firefighters are still trying to determine the cause of the fire, but say it may have started in the back of the restaurant.
We believe it started in the back in the kitchen area or a storeroom, and it was pretty well confined to that area, but because it was being fed by natural gas, it was a fairly intense fire.
Firefighters struggled to put out the fire because the building's natural gas line was feeding the flame. But once the gas was turned off, the fire was brought under control fairly quickly. 2 city common councilors want a question frequently asked on job applications to be removed. Under the proposed law, employers in the city of Syracuse would not be allowed to ask applicants about prior arrests or convictions on the application form. Only if the candidate is given an interview may the employer ask about his or her criminal history.
And allows an opportunity for an interview to take place. You know, it's not unlikely that employer could be so impressed with a person that they might forego or disregard the fact that they have a criminal history. So that is the only thing.
The proposed law has sparked outcry among businesses here in Syracuse, and even Mayor Minor was not pleased with the proposed law. The measure that would be enforced by employees of minors was put on the council agenda without her approval.
Convenience for pet owners. The city of Syracuse is planning to purchase a software package that will move all of its animal control records off to paper and onto computers. For pet owners, that means renewing your dog's annual registration online. The software is expected to cost just over $25,000, but it could mean more accurate records and a reduction to the estimated 500 dogs put down each year.
I think let's register the dogs and let's try to focus on the people that are doing it the wrong way, and maybe there'll be less dogs that we have to pick up and unfortunately euthanize down the road.
Okay. Great.
Now there was a Syracuse increase in crimes, and Syracuse Police Chief Frank Fowler said that one of the reasons for this increase was that people today tend to carry more expensive smartphones, tablets, and other electronics. As you can see here, there was an increase in robberies by 16%. Larcenies went up by 11%, and burglaries increased by 14%. The city of Syracuse, as I mentioned, did experience significant increases in burglaries, robberies, and larcenies in 2012, according to the data released by the Syracuse Department. Now, coming up after the break, a former LA police officer attacks his ex-colleagues as well as civilians.
And the former after all that and more. Stay tuned.
Yes. Check for me the weather right after the week. Are we on B block right now? Are you sitting there? No, I'm sitting back. I'm back here right now.
How are we on time?
I will be walking over there, yeah.
We're over a lot?
During the 5-day
Oh.
test. Thank you. Shooting guy experience? Not really. Oh, I think it's good. Really good job, guys.
Okay.
Are we going to B block?
Yeah, we're gonna be.
So should I go to the monitor?
Oh, yeah, I guess you could. A former Los Angeles police officer wanted for murdering 2 civilians and killing a cop is on the run, and police at a press conference today say he's dangerous.
We trained him. He was also a member of the armed forces. It is extremely worrisome and scary.
Christopher Jordan Dorner was fired from the force in 2009 for allegedly making false statements about his partner. In a manifesto that is more than 11,000 words long, Dorner says he is targeting those who got him fired. So far, we know that the 2 civilians Dorner is wanted were both found dead in their car. One of the 3 police officers is dead, while another is undergoing surgery, and the third was only slightly injured. A massive police hunt is out for Dorner. The U.S. Federal Reserve Bank has admitted that its computer systems were hacked by the hacking group called Anonymous. Anonymous says they stole details of more than 4,000 bank executives. The Federal Reserve says the exposure was fixed quickly after the breach in security was realized, and added that no critical operations were affected. And a mother from Nebraska accused of prostituting her young children is facing even more time in prison. We're not releasing her name to protect her children, but she was already sentenced to 80 to 90 years in prison. Today, she was given up to 20 more years. The mother placed personal ads offering her daughters as sexual companions and let at least 7 men have sex with her 14-year-old at least 20 times, and at least 3 men had sex with her 7-year-old. The Grand Central Station in New York is normally a busy place above ground, but today workers are busy 16 stories below the terminal. An army of workers is blasting through bedrock to create a new underground railroad waiting area. This is one of 3 projects going on underground to make the nation's largest transit system even larger. The 3 projects will cost around $15 billion.
Iranian media has released what is said to be the decoded footage taken by a U.S. drone plane that was captured more than a year ago. This grainy footage you see here on a broadcast on Iranian television late last night and showed images of what officials said were a U.S. base based in Afghanistan and several other aerial shots. U.S. officials responded saying that there was no evidence that the latest claims were true. And the assassination of a leading opposition figure in Tunisia yesterday caused mass protests across the nation and raised fresh concern about the Arab Spring. Anti-Islamist politician Chokri Belaid was shot to death yesterday, causing thousands to rally outside the city of Tunis. Many were chanting slogans and urging the government to stand down. Following the protest, the Prime Minister announced he would form a nonpartisan temporary government to run the country until elections can be held. Now, police in Acapulco are hunting a gang of men behind a vicious hour-long attack on a group of Spanish tourists. 5 armed and masked attackers raped 6 Spanish women after forcing their way into a rented beach house and tying up their 6 male companions. Police said they have strong leads into the investigations, and arrests could be made as early as this week.
Coming up after the break, we'll tell you which 2 U.S. airlines are talking about a merge.
Casey Cutler is here to give us live with all the details you need to know for preparing for the snowstorm.
Thank you, Alexa. As we said, today is quiet before the storm tomorrow. Right now, the temperature is in the low 20s, barometer reading at 30.49 inches, and the winds are only moving at 6 miles per hour, which is good compared to what tomorrow is going to be looking at. With Winter Storm Nemo bearing down, the Northeast is preparing for a heavy snowfall that's going to be in effect tomorrow. Today's record high seems to be about what it was in 1904. when it read about 55 high, and today we're in the 20s, and in the morning we were in the 30s. Now the temperatures will drop into the teens later on, but unfortunately over the next few days it's going to bring some hazardous travel conditions for a lot of people out there. As you can see over here, we're getting a lot of snow coming our way tomorrow, and unfortunately the weathers are going to drop increasingly. As you can see from the next map, the northeast area is bringing a ton of snow and ice our way, so it's going to make for a very dangerous way tomorrow. So I would stay inside as much as you can. Tonight will continue to be overcast, and the weather will continue to be in the mid-20s, but winds will pick up to 10 to 15 miles per hour, and snow showers will begin later on in the evening. Tomorrow will be a storm warning, heavy snow, winds at 15 to 25 miles per hour, and in the low teens. For our 5-day forecast, as you know, today is a good day, but coming up in the weekend, it's going to be looking like a lot of cold and a lot of snow coming our way. Saturday is going to be snowy, but Sunday is at least picking up to clear up, and we're going to be seeing some rain on Monday.
Alrighty, thank you, Casey. So tell us, how much snow are we actually expecting for Saturday?
Well, actually, we're going to be getting the least amount as a lot of the Northeast area. We're going to be getting an accumulative of maybe 3 to 5 inches, which we are lucky about because a lot of people are going to be seeing a lot more.
So in Boston, I heard they're getting hit pretty bad.
They're getting hit pretty bad. So as much as snow and as a lot of cold that we're going to be getting tomorrow, we're pretty lucky to be in this area right now.
All right, thank you,
Thanks, Casey.
All right, that's all we have. We'll be right back with Rachel Marcus and sports.
The SU Club hockey team is drawing interest for the community this year more than ever. Why? Because they're having their best season in recent history. Showing no signs of slowing down. That's the latest status of the SU club hockey team.
Feedback I'm receiving from recruits, that's skyrocketing. So there's more recruit interest, kids that want to come to Syracuse specifically to play hockey. That was unheard of a couple years ago. Now, these past 2 years, that's really increased a lot, and that shows no signs of slowing down.
The reason? A nationally ranked program and one of the best SU teams ever. Outsiders are taking notice of what's happening inside the rink.
It's our most successful season to date. It's the first time this program's ever been nationally ranked. And not only have we been ranked, we've been ranked the entire season.
Even with the number 24 ranking, the team may be left sitting outside of the national tournament. So the goal right now is to just keep winning as the season comes to a close. That's something it's used to this year.
Yeah, I think definitely there's no doubt that this is the best we've probably ever been. I played here back when I was a student, so I know I've been around the program for 6 or 7 years now, and there's no doubt that this is the best we've ever been because it's the first time we've ever been ranked.
And for the upperclassmen on the team, it's fitting to see everything come together.
Everyone here is playing their last few years of hockey, whether we have a lot of upperclassmen, whether you're juniors or seniors. We value the time we spend together, and we all live and die for the game. We've all played our entire lives, so we expect to win, take every single game as it comes and win each game. We've got hopefully 5 left, so we've got 2 regular season games this weekend and then the playoffs.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
That was perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
That was perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
That was perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
Following its win over Notre Dame on Monday, SU returns to the court this Sunday. This time, it's taking on St. John's at the Carrier Dome at 3 p.m. The Orange had a double-digit win over the Irish following 2 straight Big East losses. The team will look to begin a new winning streak this weekend against the Johnnies. The Orange will look to freshman Jeremy Grant and junior C.J. Fair to step up for the 2nd straight game for the Orange.
All right, thank you, Rachel, for that. And coming up after the break, we'll tell you how one father, how much he doesn't want his daughter to be on Facebook.
Stay tuned.
Seconds. 10, 5, 4, 3.
All right, Alexa, how much would you need to be paid to delete your Facebook account?
Definitely a few hundred. It would depend for how long.
Well, get this. A father from Boston is paying his 14-year-old $200 to quit the social site for about 5 months.
Oh, and that's it. And that was all her idea. She finds Facebook distracting, and she could use the money.
I mean, I agree it's distracting. I just don't know if I could give it up for 5 months for $200.
I know, neither do I. Well, that's all the time we have for today. I'm Alexa Greenberg.
And I'm Alexandra Montgomery. Be sure to check out all of our content on nccnewsonline.com. Have a great night, Syracuse.
Vince. Amber. How close are we? Tell you what, Val, can I just unplug this for now? Take the whole earpiece out. We need a brand new earpiece. Okay. Not just this part. This part? We'll try to get it to you when we can, okay?
Okay.
Meanwhile, Jen or Lee can give you whatever you need.
Okay, Lee, remember to do me like
that. Can you go ahead, just plug it into the base unit of her thing? I'm sorry, it's what?
It's the only one that looks like.
Okay, hold up. Okay,
you can put it, just put me in the B block, it's fine. You can put it in the B block, I have no.
We'll get
Where do I put this?
Where's the receiver?
You have it.
Oh, I'm sorry, duh. Thank you.
Wait, is it here?
Yes. Do you hear it?
I don't have it yet.
Okay.
Oh, wait, put that up. 15 seconds.
They're still going to start with headlines, though, right?
Yeah.
If it has to wait till B. Okay. 5, 4.
Welcome to NCC News at 4:40. I'm Jen Pitts.
And I'm Valeria Ponte. A former presidential candidate is visiting Syracuse University tonight. That's our top story. Governor Mike Huckabee, the polarizing political talk show host and former presidential candidate, is speaking tonight at Syracuse University. Our very own Mary Wilson is live at the venue. Mary, when does the lecture begin?
Thanks, Val. Mike Huckabee is scheduled to speak right behind me here at Gifford Auditorium at 7:30 tonight. That means in just a few hours, people will be crowding into the auditorium to hear his speech on what he calls the future of conservatives. Now, I caught up with the people at the Shine box office earlier, and they said that things went fast. It's going to be a full house there, and some are none too pleased about that. That's why there is speculation that there could be a protest cropping up right here on the quad where I am now because of his far-right stance on controversial topics such as gay marriage and abortion. So we'll have to see if that turns up. And a few people are very happy that he's here, others not so much. Earlier today, I caught up with both sides of the spectrum.
Mike Huckabee is best known for hosting his conservative talk show, The Huckabee Report, and making a run for office in 2008. His staunch Republican views mean people either love him or hate him.
I just don't like him. I think he's really obnoxious and greedy, I guess.
Syracuse College Republicans are sponsoring the lecture and hoping it goes off without a hitch.
So often the conservative viewpoint is not one that's talked about much on campus. So we thought Governor Huckabee would be a perfect fit. He's a leader in the conservative movement, but often he's overshadowed by people like Paul Ryan and Marco Rubio.
Tickets are free of charge and can be picked up at the Shine box office until the beginning of the speech. I'm Mary Wilson, NCC News.
Thanks, Mary. One topic Huckabee will focus on tonight is his strong commitment to family values, including opposing gay marriage. And as one national figure speaks against gay rights here in Syracuse, the national discussion on gay rights continues. Defense Secretary Leon Panetta will announce any day now that he is extending benefits to LGBT military couples.
And the Boy Scouts of America are flip-flopping their stance on gay troops, leaders, and members. They say they are now undecided on whether to allow gay members. Many Americans were outraged last summer when the organization confirmed they would ban all openly gay members. Responding to that outrage, the Boy Scouts announced last week that it was up to the individual troops to decide whether or not to admit gay members. Now they've changed their tune again after religious groups spoke out against the decision. The CEO of Hoffman Hot Dogs is in trouble. Over 20 people and groups, including SU basketball coach Jim Boeheim, are suing Frank Zaccanelli for spending millions of company dollars on himself. Zaccanelli, who was born here in Syracuse and heads up the 133-year-old company, allegedly used the corporate card to go to nightclubs and buy clothes for his wife. He's also accused of verbally abusing his employees. The enormous group of plaintiffs mainly includes local investors like Boeheim. The first hearing in the case will be held next Wednesday. Syracuse crimes are up as the city had significant increases in burglaries, robberies, and larcenies in 2012, according to data released by the Syracuse Police Department yesterday. Police Chief Frank Fowler said one of his goals for the coming year will be to drive down robbery in the University Hill area. SU students who live off campus are second-guessing walking home alone at night.
Especially walking at nighttime. During the daytime, I don't see it as a problem, but I wouldn't park my car this far away at nighttime.
Fowler's officers have worked to increase productivity despite the police department shrinking 7% in 3 years. The police force has put 3% more officers on the streets.
Oswego County has officially joined the growing list of counties against the newly enacted New York SAFE Act. Legislators met today to discuss their opposition to the law that was passed almost a month ago in Albany. The law was passed in response to the Newtown shooting in December and includes an assault weapons ban. Legislator Terry Wilbur is leading the opposition. She believes the law is unconstitutional, but agrees with some parts like strict punishments for killing first responders and Kendra's law. Syracuse police are asking for your help in finding a missing teenager. 16-year-old Sienna Petra was last seen Tuesday at her home on Putnam Street at 3 a.m. and is believed to have left her home at 6:30 a.m. for her first day at Fowler High School. She never made it to school. Petrie is 5 foot 1 inches height and weighs around 120 pounds with brown hair and hazel eyes. If you have any information that may help the police, call 315-442-5222. You're looking at a video of the Burger King in Tully on fire last night. Officials say it could take months for the Burger King to reopen its doors since they have to rebuild it. Tully firefighter Jim Bergman said that the fire started in the back of the building and that they are still investigating why the fire broke out.
The U.S. Postal Service plans to stop Saturday mail delivery and is facing stiff opposition from Central New York's representatives in Congress and its postal workers. The U.S. Postmaster General said the move to 5-day delivery is necessary to cut costs and saves about $2 billion per year. A local union of more than 900 postal workers from Central New York vowed they would fight to make sure that Saturday service continues. Winter storm watches have been issued for most of the Northeast. 2 storms coming from the east and west might combine tonight and cause a monster blizzard that will hit Friday. New York should expect as much as a foot of snow and Massachusetts up to 3 feet. It might be the biggest blizzard in Mass since the famous blizzard of 1978. Gusts of wind, heavy snowfall, and rain are also expected. Massachusetts officials say not to travel, and Boston has already canceled school. Con Edison in New York City has warned the public that power outages are possible.
temperatures keep on dropping and central New York is on a winter storm watch. Our weather reporter Haisa Dominguez is in the patio giving us the latest on the current weather conditions. Haida, how cold is it out there?
Thanks, Valeria. It's actually not too bad out here. It is a bit cold with temperatures in the lower 20s. The barometric pressure is at about 30 and humidity at 49%. The winds are said to be about 6 miles per hour, but this is nothing compared to what we'll see tonight into tomorrow. There's a 60% chance of snow tonight, with winds moving up to about 25 miles per hour. But again, the accumulation tonight is little to none. The real snowstorm comes in tomorrow at around noon. Syracuse is said to receive about 8 inches of snow, some areas as little as about 3 inches and others as much as 12 inches. Stay tuned to find out the latest on Snowstorm Nemo coming up after the break. Jen, back to you.
Thanks, Haisa. Still ahead, some relief might be coming for Lance Armstrong.
And in Los Angeles, a former cop is on a killing spree, including fellow police officers. More on that after the break.
Was an LAPD officer through 2009 and a reservist for the United States Navy.
Manhunt is underway in Southern California today for a former LA police officer who is suspected in a killing spree. Christopher Dorner is suspected of killing a couple over the weekend and then opening fire on 4 police officers today, killing one and leaving the other in critical condition. Hours after, LA police shot at a gray pickup truck who they'd mistakenly believed was Dorner. Dorner was fired back in 2008 for making false statements and is allegedly striking back at his co-workers and their families. We'll keep you updated as this story develops on nccnewsonline.com. John Brennan heads to Capitol Hill today for the first step towards gaining his title as director of the CIA. Brennan will likely be grilled by the CIA this afternoon about the drone strike killing that he issued. His confirmation hearing could be the most public dialogue about his secret drone operation. John Brennan was nominated after the former director of the CIA, David Petraeus, was forced to resign after his involvement in an extramarital affair.
The U.S. Anti-Doping Agency is giving Lance Armstrong a second chance. He was given an extra 2 weeks to work out an interview with investigators under oath. The agency said that if Armstrong cooperates in the cleanup effort, he may have a chance at a lesser punishment. His current punishment is a lifelong ban from professional sports. ABC News has an exciting announcement today. Good Morning America's Robin Roberts will be returning to the anchor desk February 20th. Roberts has gotten the all clear from her doctors. She returned just 5 months after her bone marrow transplant to treat a rare blood disorder. Now put down those coffee cups. New York City lawmakers are back at it today. Styrofoam containers are at the center of legislation and could be banned from the nation's largest city. A sanitation official said the idea is under review because styrofoam takes a year to break down in landfills and is too expensive to recycle. Experts say a styrofoam ban is a way to double the city's recycling rate.
Well, let's take a jump across the pond to Russia. The Winter Olympics in Sochi, Russia are 1 year away, and it already looks like it will be the most expensive Olympics in history. President Vladimir Putin inspected the venue yesterday and expressed a few concerns about costs and construction. The price tag, $50 billion, easily passing the previous record of $42 billion at the Beijing Olympics in 2008. GoDaddy is in hot water as the online company is being sued by 17 Texan women. Angry ex-boyfriends of the group of women posted nude photos of them on a revenge site hosted by GoDaddy. Legal analysts say it is unlikely the case will stand. Europe is finally creating its own GPS system, ending the need to rely on American satellites for navigation. The system is called Galileo and has already spent $4 billion to put a satellite in outer space. The project is financially backed by France, Germany, and Britain, and the headquarters are in Italy.
Coming up after the break, our weather reporter Heisa Dominguez will give us her full weather forecast and talk about what to expect from this storm.
And looking outside the patio, it looks as if the storm effects have not arrived, though we see snow coming in. Stay ahead for our forecast.
It was pretty cold out there earlier. Heisa Dominguez, our weather reporter, has the latest on the current weather conditions. Heisa?
Winter Storm Nemo, it's on its way to Syracuse as we speak. There will be some light snow tonight, but it won't really hit until Friday afternoon. we should be in the clear by Saturday evening, but in the meantime, temperatures will drop into the teens. Temperatures will drop into the teens over the weekend, and we may even get up to 8 inches of snow. If we take a look at the almanac, 55 in 1904, negative 20 in 1966, highs of 33 and low of 16. And even though we're not too far off from normal temperatures, we still have snowstorm Nemo coming in tomorrow. If we take a look at the radar, there's rain and snow in the Midwest and rain down in the southeast. Now, what will be coming over towards the northeast is this right here. We'll get a mix of snow and some rain, which will accumulate in the northeast area. If we take a look at the snowfall, there'd be 3 to 6 inches downstate. Now, the parts in the blue is under snowstorm watch. The parts in red are under snowstorm warning. Counties of Wayne, Oswego, and Oneida are under warning, and counties of Seneca, Cayuga, and Oneonta are under watch. Now, if we take a look at the snowfall, 3 to 6 inches of rain down by Washington, D.C., Cortland, 6 to 12 in Syracuse and Cazenovia, up to 12 inches in Rome, and up until the Boston area. Now, if we take a look at the winter storm Nemo, rain and ice in Washington, D.C., a mixture of snow and ice in New York City, and snow in Syracuse, Burlington, and Boston, all the way up. If we take a look at today's forecast, mostly cloudy winds in the northeast, 6 miles per hour, is high of 28 and a low of 22. Now, this is the calm before the storm. Tomorrow we'll have a snow in 12 miles per hour, a high of 35 and a low of 14. If we look at the 5-day forecast, today max of 27, low of 23. Friday, max of 30, low of 16. Saturday, high of 17 and a low of 4. Sunday, partly sunny, high of 30 and a low of 22. And Monday, high of 38 and a low of 30. If you don't have anywhere to go, please stay home. You really don't want to be out in the roads. It is going to be very dangerous.
So, Haisa, a blizzard warning has officially been issued, right?
Yes, as about an hour ago, there is a blizzard warning in effect for all of the Northeast.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Haisa.
Thank you.
Coming up in sports, a local girls soccer player signs her national letter of intent. SU football adds 19 players to the roster for next fall, and the University of Miami doping investigation continues. Stay tuned. Yesterday was National Signing Day, where high school seniors across the country could officially commit to the college of their choice. While football players are typically the big stories of the day, athletes from other sports also signed their national letters of intent. All-American soccer player Jessica Holmes from Jamesville, DeWitt was finally able to commit to the place she describes as the perfect match. Jessica Holmes dominates on the soccer field. She is nationally ranked, plays on the Olympic development team, and led Jamesville DeWitt to its first Class A championship this past season. With more than 40 scholarship offers to play soccer in college, Jessica had a decision to make. Initially, national powerhouse North Carolina was the obvious choice, but things change. Jessica announced on Wednesday afternoon that she would sign her letter of intent to play at Boston College.
There were a lot of reasons, like with the playing time, how many girls were on the team, but a lot of things that hit home was the connection that I had with the coach, and my brother passing away kind of made me want to stay closer to home.
Jessica's younger brother Jimmy grew up with multiple disabilities. He had cerebral palsy and was unable to walk, talk, see, or hear. He passed away on December 1st at the age of 10. Jessica thanks Jimmy and the rest of her family for always supporting her.
Lastly, I'd want to thank my brother, who's not here with me right now, but he's always been a motivation and he always will be.
Dozens of students, coaches, friends, and family stood by as Jessica made her college decision official. Athletic Director John Goodson expressed that Jessica's impact on her school goes beyond her talents on the soccer field.
Today we are here to honor the accomplishments of Jessica Renee Holmes and everything that she has done on the soccer field, in the classroom, and in our community.
Now that the recruiting process is finally over, Jessica is looking ahead to her first season with the Eagles.
I just hope to work really hard, get along with the girls, have a good connection with my team, and hopefully lead us to a championship. 19 high school seniors signed their letters of intent to play football at SU. Even though some top recruits chose to play elsewhere, Scott Schaefer and the Orange ended up with some valuable players. Corey Cooper is a three-star wide receiver from North Carolina who chose Syracuse over Tennessee, South Carolina, and Louisville.
He's a playmaking guy, makes acrobatic plays, and has a real good feel for the game.
Another late addition was Chauncey Schism from Rush Henrietta High School near Rochester. He was a former teammate of freshman Ashton Broyld, and he will play defensive back for the Orange. One of the nation's most successful baseball programs is being linked to illegal substances. At least 8 people with ties to the University of Miami have been cited on documents from an anti-aging clinic that is under investigation by Major League Baseball for providing players with PEDs. The documents indicated that Jimmy Goins, the strength and conditioning coach for Miami's baseball team, received banned substances from the clinic. The university said they are aware of the reports and an intense review is underway. The New York Rangers welcome the Islanders to MSG tonight for their first meeting this season. Despite their 4-5 record, the Rangers have won 7 straight against the Islanders at home. Right-wing Marian Gaborik has scored 17 goals in as many games against the Islanders and looks to continue his success tonight. Face-off is at 7 on the MSG network.
What's the recipe for 80 years of marriage?
We'll tell you after the break.
Woohoo!
The one that says thank you for tuning in. I mean,
How much time? I didn't know how much time.
we have 10 seconds. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Valeria Ponte.
And I'm Jen Pitts. Have a good night, Syracuse.